Mystically, anger is closer to fire than to destruction. Fire can burn, yes, but fire also warms, protects, illuminates, marks territory. The problem was never the fire. The problem was that the fire had no hearth. In many traditions, anger is misunderstood as something dark or dangerous. Anger is mobilizing life force. It's the surge of energy that arises when something sacred is threatened, a boundary is crossed, aliveness needs protection, dignity needs to be restored. It's the same energy that says, move, stop, enough. It's the part of us that knows where we end, where another begins, what is sacred, and what must not be violated. Anger forms when dignity is threatened and there's no protection. Today we're talking about the angry one, not as a problem or a flaw, not as something that needs to be controlled, but as a protective response that formed for a reason. Anger isn't misbehavior or aggression. It's not a failure of emotional regulation. These are labels that don't explain anger. They silence it. Anger is a boundary signal. It arises when something essential is crossed, ignored, or taken without consent, emotionally, physically, or energetically. For a child, anger is one of the earliest ways the nervous system communicates that something is not okay. Whether something hurts or feels unfair, the body is signaling something is not okay. But anger only works as a signal if it is received. Anger is meant to prevent escalation, much like when an animal growls to signal that a boundary is close to being crossed. At that point, the animal is met with awareness or attunement. However, many human children aren't afforded the same respect for their boundaries. When a child's anger is met with punishment, fear, dismissal, or shame, the nervous system learns something very specific. This signal is dangerous. My experience is too much. I have to handle this alone. At that point, anger doesn't disappear. It changes form. When anger isn't allowed expression, the nervous system has two main options: explode and risk losing connection, or contain and survive. Most children choose containment, so anger becomes quieter, sharper, more vigilant. It shows up as irritability or chronic tension, reactivity, control, constantly on edge, and/or anger turned inward. This isn't because the child was angry by nature. It's because expression of anger wasn't safe. The angry one is not always loud. Often, it's watchful. Anger is energy. When that energy can't move outward safely, the body holds it in place. Muscles tighten, breath shortens, attention sharpens. The body stays ready, not to attack, but to prevent another crossing. This is why so many people with the angry one feels exhausted without even knowing why. Their nervous system has been on guard for a very long time. And punishment makes it worse. Punishment teaches anger to hide. It teaches the body, my truth is unsafe. My boundary will cost me connection. So anger learns to go underground. And what goes underground doesn't dissolve. It waits. This is why anger often resurfaces later in life as sudden outbursts or resentment, numbness or control or shame about the intensity. Not because something is wrong, but because something was never attuned to. The angry one didn't form because you were difficult. It formed because your system was protecting something that mattered. You didn't need punishment. You needed attunement. Someone to say, I see what you're feeling. It makes sense. I can hold this with you. This week is not about calming anger. It's not about releasing it. And it's not about changing who you are. It's about recognition. Simply noticing how anger shows up and letting it exist without judgment. Understanding comes later. For now, it's enough to know this. Anger didn't arrive to destroy you. It arrived to protect something sacred.